Hello everybody, it's Lance here from the Rocky Mountain Life channel. Today, in late December, the week of Christmas, I am taking a bit of a chance here. I'm not sure how much snow I'm going to get into. We got some snow here, I don't remember exactly when it was. It's been about a week, I think, and I'm going up over the mountains here. So we'll see just how bad this road's going to get. Now, I came up this road when I first got the bike. When I did my first impressions video, first ride I took was up here. And I haven't been up here since, and I didn't come up here very far. Thank you. And so I don't have a lot of experience up here, and I'm going to see if I can go further than I went the first time. There's actually a fair bit of area up here from what I understand and what I could find on Google Earth and things like that, looking around. But I don't think any of this is really going to be trails. It's going to be this rocky road stuff, and you could actually drive a truck or a Jeep or something up here without a whole lot of trouble. But again, like I said in a video a week or two ago, I'm out here by myself, and so I'm not really looking to find anything super rough. But I really like the trees, I like the scenery, and so that's why I'm coming up here. And it's probably going to be the best weather day we're going to have for a while. The temperature is in mid to upper 50s. That of course is going to drop as I go up in elevation. But I'm not cold. Feeling pretty good. Just going to come up here and enjoy the views. Just kind of explore around a little bit. Let's see if we can find some nice looking areas up here. Trick's going to be snow. Yeah, like this. This is what I was a little afraid of. I've seen other guys take their bikes out and ride them in the snow. I am not a fan personally. Snow is slippery, and when you don't have very much rubber on the road at any given time, it doesn't take a whole lot of slip for you to go down and you're done. Another purpose of this video today is I've got some dead cat for my microphone, and got that on there. We're going to see if that helps at all with the audio quality. But it's icy actually, even though it's fairly warm today. It was not warm last night, and it's still in the morning, so I'm not sure that it's been warm enough, long enough to actually melt the snow. But the weather today is pretty good. It's windy, and that's not really comfortable from a riding perspective, particularly when I was on the pavement getting out here. I was riding into the wind. It's coming out of the west. And that made, there's no windshield or anything on these bikes. It's beta, and so it ends up making it pretty rough for riding in the wind. But it's going to be a good audio test, I think. So my plan today was to get up here about 10-12 miles, and then make a turn onto another road. But I'm already, even this close to town, seeing a lot of packed snow and ice still on this road. And I don't know how far up I'm going to be able to go. we're just going to see. I'm going to keep going until I start to feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortable enough to feel like it's not worth the risk. I haven't hit that yet. But I wanted to get out. I wanted to test the dead cat on the microphone. I've got the microphone in a slightly different place than what I had it before. It's only about an inch or so off from where I was before with it. But it's more of a hanging out the bottom of the helmet here by the chin. And I'm just kind of wondering if that helps with the distortion that the previous setup had with my voice. I got the wind blowing right in my face right now. So this will be a good test to see how this does here with this audio with my new setup. Never been up this far before. This is further than where I went on my first ride already. Parts of this, particularly on the south-facing turns and switchbacks, the road is perfectly dry. And you get into more the other facing areas like this, and it is not dry. And it still has this packed snow on it. There's a little rear tire slip. Some of this is pretty watery and muddy right now. It'll get worse as the day goes on. Mud doesn't bother me too much. Makes my bike dirty, but it's kind of what I bought it for, to get dirty. I don't really buy things to not use them and just look at them. Certainly with this, it's meant to get dirty. Oh no, this is where I came. This is where I came on my first video, my first ride. Okay, so now we have gone officially further than I ever have up here before. And the snow is getting much deeper. Instead of just a covering, now we've got a couple inches over here. And the road is just flat out snow. And it's pretty icy. You know, doesn't take much of a... That right there's a slip, and I wasn't even accelerating. It's funny when I watch the footage, these action cameras with their wide angle lenses. Now I have a DJI Osmo Action, and it does not have as wide an angle lens as the GoPros do. And those of you who watch a lot of action camera footage, like I do, and watch a lot of people on bikes, you'll probably recognize that the field of view on my Osmo Action is not as wide as it is on the GoPros. And I knew that when I bought this, but I didn't really care. I figured it was wide enough to do what I would want it to do, and I think it is. When I first started watching dirt bike videos here, I don't know, a year or so ago, when I was first really getting serious about thinking about getting another motorcycle, I started looking up, you know, dual sport rides and things, and started watching all these videos. I remember watching guys, and they would be like, "Oh, this is rough. You know, it's really rocky, or it's really steep." You know, and they would act and sound like it was pretty hard work. And I remember watching the footage, thinking, "Well, that doesn't look that hard. I'm not even a good rider, and that doesn't look that hard to me." Yeah, well, I've since found out that film footage is deceiving. I keep thinking I should turn around, but I haven't really felt like I really need to turn around. Because look at these boulders up here. Look at this. Look at this. That is so cool. If my dad were here, he could tell me what they were made out of. My father was a scientist. I was the radio DJ and singer who then went into the medical field, which is what I do these days. But I live right now in southern Colorado, and I think this is one of the prettiest places anywhere in the United States, at least, for sure, in my opinion. But I really like this area, and I started my YouTube channel as a way to share some of those things, and it was going to teach me how to edit videos, which I'd never done before, and I was interested in that. Hey, there's a Jeep up here. So now I'm actually starting to descend just a little bit, and I think this is going to have to be my turnaround point. So as I get ready to turn around, right here with the bike off, sitting on top of this knob with the wind blowing, see how much of that wind translates into my microphone. This really is a nice area though. It's not that far from town. It's heavily traveled, and I think that's because it is a nice area and it is close to town. But if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff and you've enjoyed my video or videos so far, I will tell you that as soon as the weather permits, coming up here in the spring, and it might have to be June. I mean, I don't know how long it'll take for this snow, because we're going to get more, of course. But as soon as this area up here is free of snow, I plan on coming back and making a video, because there's miles and miles out here in front of me of area that I have never been, and miles of dirt roads and trails to explore. And I'm going to do some of that, and I will bring those videos to you as I can. And as bummed as I am about not being able to get the full ride in today, it was still enjoyable. I still like coming out here. And it's just not worth the risk to me to push it too far with this snow and ice. Because as I start going downhill here, if I kept going, that would go down the other side of the mountain, I think, at least for the most part. And that, of course, means I got to come back up. And I'm not interested in risking too much. As in, it's now too steep and I can't climb the hill. So I mentioned in my last video about a couple other guys, local guys that have small YouTube channels that I had encountered in my research about betas. One of the ones I talked about, his name is Ferret Face Failed Productions. Since my last video, he and I had talked just a little bit through YouTube comments, actually. But one of the things that Ferret Face told me there is he was telling me that I'm going to want to put the 13-tooth front sprocket on instead of this 15 that's on it now, the stock one. And I initially was a little skeptical of that. As I mentioned before, the gearing on this bike stock with the 15-tooth front sprocket feels pretty short to me. It doesn't seem overly tall. And of course I was coming from a KLR 650 with stock gearing most of the time. I did have a different counter sprocket that I did have on it for 6-8 months or something. But it got so buzzy and wound out so tight on the highways, which I did have to ride it on a fair bit back then. But anyway, I was just used to the stock gearing on a KLR 650. So this one felt so much shorter to me, and I thought, gosh, I don't really see the need to shorten down the gearing anymore and put the 13-tooth sprocket on it. But Ferret Face told me, he says, well, we're going to get you out on some single track and you're going to wish you had that 13. Well, here we are today out here in the snow, and I'm having to go very slowly, 10, 11 miles an hour. I'm doing 11 miles an hour right now in first gear. I think he's right. If I'm going to get on any kind of slow single track, I think I will want it to be shorter. So I'm thinking that for anybody who's considering a beta, I would just suggest you do what I have been doing with it and start riding it in stock gearing, because everybody's location and where they ride and how they ride is a little different. And where you ride might be more open. I think I've watched some guys in California, Southern California, that ride, and they're out in the desert a lot, and it's more open, and I think it's probably in general faster speeds than what we would probably do on single track here in Colorado. So if you live in an area like that is more open, then it might be more beneficial to you to keep the stock gearing on it. But if you're going to do any kind of slower speeds, more technical single track, rockier things, anything that's going to require you to go slower, then the 13-tooth front sprocket might be the ticket. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I'm going to say thanks for coming along, and I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't go very fast today. It's slippery, and off to the side there, that's steep. I have no desire to go over the edge. But if you guys enjoyed this and you would like to see more scenery like this and more thoughts on the beta as I get more and more accustomed to it, I would appreciate a subscription and a like and even a thumbs up. My channel is very small. I don't get flooded with comments. So if you do have a question or something you'd like to comment on, I probably am capable of responding at this point. Now, if you feel like writing a comment telling me how much I suck at writing, how bad I am, how slow I am, don't bother. Don't waste your time and your keystrokes, because I already know. I have no illusions about my writing skills. They never were amazing, ever. And now, after a 10-year layoff of not writing, they're even worse than they were before. But they'll improve, and I'll go faster. I just don't like doing it on this snow. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off and say thanks for coming along, and I will bring you more content as I can. Hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and everybody be safe.